¿Cómo estás? Just like you would in Mexico, very pronounced, very clear. In Spain, at least in Sevilla, where I was living at the time, was more like, ¿Cómo está? I can't even imitate the accent anymore. ¿Cómo está? I can't even do it. Oh my God, it's so funny. ¿Cómo estás, tío? It was just very different. What is the easiest Spanish accent to learn? What about the hardest? Let's find out in today's video. So first of all, I just want to say thank you so much for your support always on these videos. It really does mean a lot to me. So if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and also subscribe if you haven't already. A lot of you, I realized, like when I speak in Spanish instead of just English. So in this video, I'm going to try and do a bit of English in Spanish. So let's switch to Spanish. ¿Cuál es el acento más difícil del español? Pues honestamente depende. La razón por la que digo que depende es porque depende el español al que tú estás escuchando. Si tú, por ejemplo, dices, a mí me gusta mucho el español de Argentina. Después de un tiempo escuchando a ese español, y obviamente hay ciertos acentos en Argentina, pero si estás escuchando mucho al español argentino, vas a decir, este español se me hace más fácil que el español de España, por ejemplo. So it just depends. Now, I will say that typically students gravitate towards two accents, the Mexican accent and the Colombian accent. So as you may know, I speak a more Mexican Spanish and I have a more Mexican accent. But the reason I say that this all just depends is because for me, the reason I learned a more Mexican accent was because of my environment when I was learning Spanish and my environment now. The reason I kind of have a plain backdrop and nothing fancy going on is because I live in Mexico City now and I don't have a fancy apartment set up because I don't know how long I'll be here. Típicamente, los acentos de México y Colombia son los más fáciles. Simplemente porque el acento de México y de Colombia hablan más marcado, más o menos el español es más marcado. También lo que pasa es que muchas veces, y obviamente depende de la persona, los mexicanos y los colombianos hablan un español más despacio en general. Obviamente sí hay personas que hablan muy rápido, pero por lo general muchas veces las personas de México y de Colombia hablan un español más marcado y un poco más despacio. It's a little bit easier to understand. If you want to become conversationally fluent in Spanish as fast as possible, check out the Fluent Spanish Speaker Academy. Here's what some of our current members have to say. I can't express how much easier it is to learn a subject when you enjoy the person helping you learn it. Do yourself a favor, finally learn the language you've been wanting to, and learn it from a great guy. One of my most amazing and inspiring students, Angelo, says, my beloved best friend Jesse just passed away a few months ago, and honestly, it has been really hard to cope with. However, your videos and program give me so much more inspiration in life and inspire me to learn so much more. As hard as it feels, I know things will get better. With that speaking, I want to let you know that every penny was worth it, and I am so encouraged to learn from you. Your videos are not only very helpful, but very funny, and always get me in a better spirit about learning. I push myself to learn so I can one day enjoy my best friend's whole family and truly tell him how much he meant to me with all the good loving memories we had together. Also, there's a lot of content, for example, in Mexican Spanish, music, movies, shows. Now, that's not to say that there isn't this in Peruvian Spanish or Uruguayan Spanish, but it's much easier to see content from places like Mexico or Colombia. And typically, kind of the easier accents coming after Mexico and Colombia are from Spain and Argentina. Once again, this is just because these countries are very popular among Spanish learners. Many of you who are learning Spanish would love to go to Spain, Mexico, Colombia, Argentina. These are kind of the more popular Spanish accents. The harder Spanish accents are going to be from Puerto Rico, Cuba, and La República Dominicana. All of these countries located in the Caribbean. Me personally, even as someone who teaches Spanish and who has been a Spanish learner for 9 years, se me hacen mucho más difícil. Pero también, eso es lo que estoy diciendo. Yo estoy acostumbrado a escuchar un español mexicano, colombiano, peruano. También lo que pasa es que en cada país hay varios acentos. Por ejemplo, el acento aquí en el norte de México es diferente que el acento en el sur de México. Entonces cambia en cada país. Pero esos son los acentos más difíciles. And of course, they are notorious for maybe speaking very quickly, eating their words almost, different slang words that you might not be used to. I reviewed Bad Bunny's Spanish in one of my videos. He's from Puerto Rico. He has a really interesting accent in the way he would kind of make his R sounds into L sounds. So things like that change. I remember when I was living in the south of Spain, a lot of times they would cut off the end of words, especially when it came to the letter S. So for example, instead of saying ¿Cómo estás? Just like you would in Mexico, very pronounced, very clear. In Spain, at least in Sevilla, where I was living at the time, was more like ¿Cómo está? I can't even imitate the accent anymore. ¿Cómo está? I can't even do it. Oh my God, it's so funny. ¿Cómo estás, tío? It was just very different. All of this being said, don't say, I'm going to learn Mexican Spanish because it's the easiest accent. Choose the accents that you enjoy the most, that first of all, you find the most beautiful, that you like the most. But second, where you say, I love the culture that comes along with this kind of Spanish. Being someone who grew up in Southern California, hearing Mexican Spanish all the time and seeing the Mexican culture all around me, I said, gosh, this is the Spanish that I want to learn. Like I said though, at first, I wasn't even like, yeah, I want to learn this Spanish. It was just like, yeah, I'm learning Spanish, I like Spanish. I wasn't even thinking about the different accents. So if you're watching this video, good on you for even thinking about this, because I was definitely not thinking about this. Don't worry about how hard the accent is. It's all relative, okay? Someone might say, oh, you know what, Nate, you're wrong. The Cuban accent is way easier than the Colombian accent, for example. So it just kind of depends on the person and depends on your environment. Pero ahí está. Si tienes preguntas de mi acento, de cómo mejorar tu acento, pronunciación, lo que sea, me puedes dejar un comentario ahí abajo del video, en la descripción. Y sí, siempre estoy aquí para ayudarte con tu español. Si quieres aprender más español conmigo, puedes en mi página web SpanishWithNate.com. Ahí te enseño cómo hablar un español hermosísimo. Y eso es todo. Muchas gracias por ver este video. Cuídate mucho y nos vemos en el siguiente. Adiós.